So I'm saying the methodology that we're going to use today is going to be very easy. I don't mean the questions that we'll be looking at, they will be easy, no. I'll first do a presentation. If I present on, say, payback period, when I'm done presenting on payback period, I show you how to prepare. Just excuse. So I was saying the methodology that we are going to use is extremely easy. First, I present on a particular topic. If, say, it is maybe payback period, I present on payback period. I even do an example with you on payback period. Then I ask you to do your computations using these exam questions that you normally have, that you are normally or accustomed to. So you do your workings on payback period. Again, we go to another method. I explain in detail what that particular item is. Then you still continue doing these things as we move on, so that eventually it will be you to do the computations for all these items in here. So if you can manage to finish this paper today, that is entirely up to you. I'll still give you the time. So now I can go to my presentation. So the topic that we'll be looking at is an overview of investment appraisal methods. It will cover all the appraisal methods, at least for aligned to the exam paper that we'll be looking at today, or your questions that we'll be looking at today. So first thing first, guys. First thing first, we ought to understand that companies invest for a simple reason of maximizing their shareholders' wealth. So those, the owners of capital, they are interested in becoming richer than before. So companies need to invest in wealth-creating assets in order to renew, extend, or replace the means by which they carry on their business. So any investment that you think of, the principal objective is to generate cash flows in the future or to maintain the profitability of existing business activities. So capital investment projects will require significant cash outflows at the beginning and will then produce cash inflows over several years. We have seen a lot of capital projects in this country. One among many is the Kafue Gorge Lower Power Station, which has a go board of about $2 billion as capital outlay. But because it is a conventional project, we expect cash inflows during the commercial operation of that project, even for the next 25 years. But before the owners of that project proceeded with the project, they had smart people in the room who first appraised the project. So as in capital investment projects require careful evaluation because they require very large amounts of cash to be raised and invested. And because they'll determine whether the company is profitable in the future or whether the project in this case is profitable in the future. And this is why, as students of finance, you need to appreciate the tools of appraising an investment, a capital investment. For any company that wants to undertake a project and they do some appraisal of that particular project, their aim is to make sure that they go for the best or most profitable investment. You still remember the old credo, that of maximizing shareholders' wealth. It still stands up today because that is what inspires the shareholders. All they want is to have a meaningful equity return. But the return must be higher than the cost of capital. If, for example, your cost of capital is 9%, and you find that your internal rate of return is below 9%, it already shows that your project is not viable because your internal rate of return, which in this case is your equity return, is 0 NPV. So any rate that is below internal rate of return, it shows that the project is not any project that is below any project whose internal rate of return is below the cost of capital is not profitable. So it also seeks to avoid the negative strategic and financial consequences which could follow from poor investment decisions. We have seen, Doreen, some poor investment decisions that have been done in the past, either those that are actually handling public projects or those that have focused on private investments. One of the examples that I would honestly give of a project that had a negative strategic and financial consequences is the Msotunya Square. Is it the Msotunya Square, Doreen? The one closer to showgrounds in Livingston?
Force Park.
Force Park, yes.
Yes.
That one now, it has remained as a white elephant. If it was a white rhino, it was even going to be more precious, but as a white elephant. There's literally nothing happening there. But imagine how much money was spent in building that mall. Probably the projections that were done by the financial experts to justify why they needed to actually undertake that project was riddled with a lot of errors. So we'll start with the payback method. We know that for the owners of funds to release those funds for a specific project, they need to be assured that the funds that they have invested in that project would be paid back. But the question is when. So research has shown that payback is the most popular investment appraisal method. Unfortunately, payback cannot be used as a single investment appraisal method to the exclusion of others. So as much as it is a popular investment appraisal, it suffers from a number of shortcomings that it should only be regarded as a first screening method. So we use it as a first screening method to see, even before you look at other appraisal methods, you first use the payback period to determine on whether you should be in a position to recoup the funds that you intend to invest in your capital project. So the payback period is the number of years it is expected to take to recover the original investment from the net cash flows resulting from a capital investment project. So what happens really in organizations is that an organization is going to come up with a target payback period. They'll say, our target is to recoup what we have invested in at the end of third or fourth or fifth year, but at least a target has been given. And that is that predetermined target value that you use as a benchmark to check on whether this particular investment aligns with your target value. We have seen where people would show the payback period maybe to 2 or so decimals, where I would say it would be 4 years or 4.2 years or 4.3 years to pay back the investment or the funds that we invested in this particular project. But you see, it doesn't matter. If you say 4 years, if it was 4.2, it does not matter. So I'm saying it is possible to obtain an estimate of the payback period to several decimal places if cash flows are assumed to occur evenly throughout each year. But a high degree of accuracy in estimating the payback period is not desirable. It does not offer information which is especially useful. So a figure to the nearest year or half year is usually sufficient. So now let's look at this example. Just do a screenshot so that you don't forget this part. We'll work on this, then we'll go to your exam. We'll go to your exam paper, check on that question, then you work it out. Then we go to another component again. Example of the payback method. Consider an investment project with the cash flows given in the table below. So we have 440 in year 0, which is now up to year 5, which is 5. So I know you have already done a screenshot. So So guys, we'll put it in a tabular form. Whenever you're looking at these things, it's better you put them in a tabular form. It becomes easier. So we'll have here. Here we'll have the cash flows. Then we'll have cumulative cash flow. This is tabular method. Cumulative cash flow. So we'll start from year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So the cash flow here is 450. That is your outflow. In year 1 is how much? Be active, Kyle.
100.
It is 100. 200.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Then you have
100.
100.
Yes.
Yeah, one we have 100.
Yes, we have 100.
100.
Then we have 100.
100.
Yeah, 400.
Then you have 80, right?
Yeah, 580.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.
So
Yes.
in year 0, so you start now putting in a cumulative. The cumulative cash flow, the reason is that you want to know at which point are you going to pay back. So year 0 is now, you have invested 450. So this is what you're going to have. It will be 450 there. It will be 450. So let's do the color coding. Here it is going to be negative 350, isn't it?
Yes.
So it will be negative 450 plus 100. It takes you to negative 350. Ingo Chepa, it's reducing bit by bit. Here, it is going to be negative
150.
150.
150.
There, it's going to be negative 50.
50.
Oh,
Then in year 4, it is going to be 50. In year 5, it's going to be 130. Now, guys, I know people get confused on the payback period. Okay, maybe let me do it. Not that you should delete. I don't want you to delete. I just want to have a proper color code. Where you have positives, I should show nicely that you have 50. Then you have 130 here. I want you to understand this properly. So from here, guys, one thing you should understand. This is now. I know this, you understand. This is today. You want to make a decision. So you have the 450 and they're saying, this is what we want to do. So if it is now, it will take 12 months. So what you regard as first year, this will be as first year. This will be 12 months after now. Meaning that it will be the first, always assume that this first year, Tamara, is the first month. Always assume that. Is not the first month, is the end is the first month of the year or first day. Consider it as first day of year one. Please, that is a very important assumption, Doreen. Consider it as first year of year one. Are you getting me? Consider it as first year of year one. So what it means is that in year three, because your payback period was here, but it shows that by the end of the fourth year, by end of fourth year, you have a surplus cash flow of how much?
50.
Surplus of 50.
50.
So meaning that your payback period first is on the first day of third year, which is
Fourth year.
3 years. Then, now, getting into this part, you have a 50 there. You get me? You have a cash inflow of 50. But the cash flow that you have for the whole year, if you assume that these cash flows will be distributed evenly throughout the year, meaning that this 100 that you have equals to what? Equals to 12 months. So all you need was just a 50 so that you zeroize to, all you needed was just a 50. You didn't need this whole 100. You just needed a 50 to pay back, isn't it? Hello? If
Yes,
here
coach.
you are the 50, here in year 4, if you are the 50, you are going to have 0 here, isn't it? Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, coach.
So all you need is just a 50. So 50, it will take how many months? If 100 takes you, if the whole 100 for the fourth year, it takes you 12 months. 50 will be 6 months. So meaning that to be 3 years, 6 months. That is the payback period. Which in short is 3.5 years. Do not forget this. Otherwise, you have a very bad day on Thursday.
Coach, I have a question on the 0.5.
On the 0.5. It is,
Yes.
if you don't use the months there, you say 100 equals to 1
Which is
year.
the initial, the cash flow? Okay.
Yes, equals to 1 year. So 50 would be how many years?
Oh,
So meaning
6
to be
months.
50 divided by 100, which gives you half.
Yeah, okay.
Because the first day of year 3, you still have a negative 50. But we are saying the first day of 4th year, you have 50. But then you need to go back to know at what point are you going to break even, which takes you to 3 years, 6 months, or 3.5 years. Are we there?
Yes.
So before we go to your question, oh, sorry. Sorry, I've confused things. Okay, so this is what we have already done. So we are saying after 3 years, the project has generated total cash inflows of 400. During the 4th year, the remaining 50 kwacha of the initial investment will be recovered. As the cash flow in this year is 100 kwacha, they are in the 4th year. And assuming that it occurs even during the year, it will take a further 6 months or 0.5 years for the final 50 kwacha to be recovered. So the payback period is there for 3.5 years. Is it okay, Myra? Is it okay?
It's okay now, coach.
Okay, thank you. So in your exam, they will not just ask you to do the computations, guys. We need to also have some theoretical understanding of these appraisal tools. So what are the advantages of the payback period? I tried to summarize them. One, it is simple and easy to apply. I'm sure you have seen that it is simple and easy to apply. It is straightforward to understand because all you're showing is this is so much money I'm going to make. This is so much money that I've invested. At what point would I recoup what I've invested in? It's a straightforward thing. Kamara.
Yes, coach. Yes, 3. So 3 plus 5.
The payback period is calculated using cash flows, guys, not accounting profits. Remember that accounting profits is subject to manipulation because you can change depreciation, you can change all these other things.
Yes.
So I'm saying cash is king and it is difficult to manipulate cash. And so should not be open to manipulation by managerial preferences for particular accounting policies. It is intact. So these are the advantages which you can expand, but I tried by all means to summarize them for you. What are the disadvantages? One, this method ignores the time value of money. The 100 kwacha incurred in year 1 and the 100 kwacha incurred in year 2 is the same. It does not look at the time value for money or the time value of money. Though we know that all the weaknesses on the payback period, which are associated to time value of money, have been worked on through the use of discounted payback method, which others now, instead of actually looking at just the cash flows, you discount them, then that is when you do your payback period. But the original payback method that we know, it does not respect time value of money. It ignores all cash flows outside the payback period. So what we mean is, this 130 are down here. Even the 50 here is ignored after I've paid back. Are you getting me? So it ignores the future cash flows just after the payback period. The payback period, and so does not consider the project as a whole, because it only concentrates only that point at which the cash that has been invested in has been plowed back. So at the point of plowing back, after the point of plowing back, it ignores, it becomes blind of what is happening after. Chinzi Wamvela. Is Chinzi there?
I'm there, coach.
Okay, thank you.
Very much.
So having done that, guys, now we go back to your question. These are not my questions, these are ZCAS questions. They are your questions. Project X has the following cash flows from year 1 up to year 5. What is the Project X basic payback period? So do the payback period, then look at the discounted. I just want you to answer the payback period. Just answer the first part of this question. I'm giving you just 5 minutes. But in that 5 minutes, when I ask you a question that what did you get, I expect the number to be the same. Not someone tells me 2.2, the other one tells me 2.5. So please, I'm giving you 5 minutes. We have a long day today.
I don't really know
So
what to think.
here first, we are using this tabular method. So we are doing our cumulative. I hope you had these numbers first.
Yes.
Yes.
So we know for sure, here we know that we have 3 years to start with, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
We have 3 years to start with. Then, in these 3 years, at the end of 3 years, or at the start of 3 years, we'll say 3 years, we had remained with the -10. So meaning that from this 40 cash inflow here, the 40, we only needed what? We only needed 30, isn't it?
Yes.
We only needed, sorry, that this 40 cash flow, we only needed this 40 cash flow, which starts from for the 12 months, we only needed only 10 to break even. For example, if we had 10 here, we are going to say the payback period is 4 years, isn't it? Hello? Because it's going to be exactly 4 years.
Yes.
But all we are actually saying is that if you have 40, these are your cash flows. And you assume that it will be evenly distributed. This will be your 12 months this side. But all you need is just what is 10. This is how you should be doing, just to make yourself understand what you're doing.
Oh.
So you only need 10. But if you 40 a kwacha or 40,000 or 40 million takes you 12 months, all you need is the 10 to break even. You only need 10. It will take you how many months? So you do your cross whatever, you are going to have this 10 times 12 divided by what? Divided by 40. It will take you 3 months. So meaning that you are going to have 3 years, 3 months. But if you want to show, for example, instead of showing months, you want to show years. So you're saying this 40 is allocated for the full year. So meaning that you're actually going to have 3 equals 3 plus 0.25, which is 3.2 years. Have you understood the concept?
Yes, coach.
So there's nothing like 2 answers, Masa and Akana.
No, I've seen now what happened.
So all the time, if you want to remind yourself, do this part. I know it looks kindergarten type of whatever, but just do it a bit. It takes you back to Orofea, those who were at Orofea. Okay, so the other part of the question was on the discounted payback period. Remember that we said the problem with this ordinary payback period, it does not respect what? Time value of money. So if we go back to the question, the cost of capital is 12%. And they are asking discounted payback period if the cost of capital is 12%. So do not stress yourself. It's still the same methodology, but what you are doing now, you are first discounting these numbers. So first thing, you discount them. So you have your discount factor at 12%. You are given, I'm sure you are given, are you given tables? Discount present value tables?
Yes, will be given.
Oh, very good.
Yes.
But even when you would be given, for me, even the exam then, back in the day, I would still not look at that thing. I would use my calculator just to pick it up. I find it very much convenient. So you have that table, you can check these numbers, they'll be the same. So the first thing that you do, you find the present values. You find the present values, then that is when you discount. Times 1. So you have these numbers. Then that is when now you bring in your cumulative. Sorry. So on cumulative cash flows, do this. So guys, help me using this methodology that I've shown you. If it is discounted payback period, how many years? I'm giving you.
4 years.
I'm giving you. No, this thing is not in at the market. We'll just say 4 years, then it ain't there. Do the computations. How can you? I'm giving you 2 minutes.